Because we're all like caught on the internet and shit. It's nice to know that there are people that aren't as wrapped up in it as us.
That's the majority of the world, though. Like they say, 1 out of 10 people are on Twitter. When you walk down the street, 1 out of 10. I don't subscribe to it. I don't play the game. I don't have social media on my phone. I post and ghost, as they call it. And I know a lot of people say they actually post and ghost. I'm telling you, I haven't seen a comment. I haven't seen a story you've done.
Wait, so you download Instagram, post something, and then delete it?
What I do is I have someone that runs, it's on their phone, I'm like an assistant basically, and I just send to them, I go, put this caption in. And then I'll check in like, yo, any interesting DMs or any dope mentions, and he'll let me know. I'm like, all right, restory that. And if it's a good DM, like someone who's like going through something, I'm like, all right, say this to him, you know? It's me, but I don't subscribe to the game, if that makes sense.
Well, that's like probably how Joe Biden's answering emails. Or Donald Trump or whatever. It's like he probably sits back at in his throne and just has some assistant saying, so-and-so wants to talk to you about this. What do you think? And, you know, he says a sentence or two, and that gets transcribed into a response in the email. Imagine how fast you'd be going through emails like that.
I'm that at a much lower level, and I'm sure with Biden, he's getting like 1 million death threats, you know? Yeah. And they're like, dude, it's all good here, man. You got 2 people.
He's falling asleep.
Yeah. No, wait, real quick. We're going to get back to this Don kid. Yeah, but I don't subscribe to it. I think it's been 2.5 years, almost 3 years, I haven't fucked with it.
Really?
No, as a creative, I just... Like, my heroes didn't grow up on social media. And then I have a great fan base and following, and they're super supportive. But then, you know, just the way we're wired, where we gravitate towards the negativity. And I found it fucking up my, like, creative process, especially on stage and everything else I want to do in my merch. And I was like, oh, this isn't healthy, man.
Because you start to have this chorus of hater voices in the back of your head.
Yeah, and it's like... You know, not everybody should have an opinion, but in social media, like, you're giving these dummies an opinion, and you're giving them power, and it's so silly to me. I don't subscribe to it, you know. And then people that I know that are on it all the time, they're talking about haters and negativity. Like, we're wired to protect ourselves. So if you get 100 positive comments, there's 1 negative. That negative is gonna fuck your day up. It's just the way we're wired. It's the way we protect ourselves. So it's like, if you're going to play that game, don't complain to me when you're having a bad day, or, you know, the haters and stuff like that. Cause, you know, it's like you're playing dodgeball. There's a chance you can get hit by a ball, man. Like, that's what you subscribe to. That's the game you're playing. So I was like, I don't want to play this game, but I have to.
Right.
Because in comedy, podcasting, you're basically your own PR machine.
Cause like, if you had...
In order to sell tickets or merch or whatever I'm pushing or advertising, I have to have social media.
Right. Like, if you had 100 people outside your house with fucking flaming bats and guns and signs that said, you suck, that would be a very big cause for concern.
Correct.
But if you have a tweet that says, hey, so-and-so is trash, that has 100 retweets, I mean, it's essentially kind of the same thing.
It's going to hurt your feelings.
One is way more worrisome.
Yes.
But in your brain, you're wired to think, like, 100 people are hating on me right now. Actually,
Correct.
It's way more than that, but in the context of this one tweet, and that can be kind of like an overwhelming thing. And like, I'll have people in my life like send me like a tweet and be like, look at this person talking shit about you. It has 100 retweets. And I'll be like, annoyed, like, bro, why are you bringing
why are you doing this?
You don't have to tell me that. Like, I know that shit's out there.
I'm aware of it, man.
Yeah, I probably already saw that one.
Yes.
But, you know, in general, like, you don't need to tell
I've
me
also
about
gotten
this.
over that one. Now you've just rehashed it, dude.
Exactly.
It's like, yeah, I don't.
They're more worried than you, and you're kind of like, bro.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
I already know what's going on.
I got thick skin, man. I've been in the game a long ass time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, well, I mean, it's interesting to me because when you were a fighter, was there like a big chunk of time in which it was all praise and glory and just like everybody just bigging you up, and then at one point that just turns into like a lot of hate, and is being a podcaster / comedian, is that kind of just like how would you compare that to the tidal wave that you were on as a fighter? Yeah,
I think as a fighter, it's like, you know, you're talking what, like in the UFC at 2012-ish, 2011, I was on The Ultimate Fighter. Social media wasn't huge, but it was a thing.
True.
And I remember I started Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and all that shit back then. And when I ripped off, I don't know, 6 wins in a row. And then it's it's tough for people to talk shit about you. But you'd see stuff like, oh, you're beating cans. Or like, oh, that's weird, dude. But it wasn't as what it is now, where people give it so much power. Like now it's everything, and kids are committing suicide because it's bullshit. Like it's so toxic now. And so when you would lose, like you would see, I guess I would see like headlines as far as like other like analysts and stuff talking shit. You know, I'm like, what's he gonna do? Loses another one? He's gonna get cut, and that would put pressure on me. But that stuff, it's never. I've always had the thickest skin, man. I don't care about those opinions because they're not my friends. They don't know me. They're not doing shit with their lives. They're probably suffering from mental health or something like that. So they're lashing out, which I get. So when you lose a fight, I don't need you telling me that I fucked up. Trust me, I'm the most depressed and hardest critic of myself you've ever seen. So that stuff never got to me. But in fighting, I think what helps me now with comedy and podcasting is the highs in fighting are the ultimate highs. There's nothing better when you knock a dude out at MGM Grand and you're getting a knockout bonus and you're not injured and you're looking at the next fight and you're ranked in the top 10. Like that's such a rush. When you lose, it's the lowest of the fuck. There's no lower point in your life. It's the worst thing in the world. So when you come from that, everything else, it's like, all right, not as serious.
You do a podcast, it's like,
like, oh, that was lit, but you're not like...
You don't have to go to the hospital.
No, yeah, it's like, all right. Or if, you do so many, like, all right, that one wasn't great. It's like, I'll get it tomorrow. Like, I have a set tonight at the Laugh Factory. It's like, if I try new jokes and eat shit, I can go across the way and go to the Improv and try something else, and that's going to work. Fighting, you lose a fight, you got 6 months off to think about that shit, man. Try and reinvent the wheel and get your shit back together.
Wondering if you're really who you've been trying to be all these years.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's intense.
And then also, before I fought in the UFC, I had a cappuccino with the Buffalo Bills because as a kid, my goal was get to the NFL. So dealing with like that heartbreak and playing Division I football and like there's a lot of heartbreak, man. So my heart's pretty calloused.
All right, guys, we hit 50,000 subscribers. Our next goal is 100,000 subscribers. So make sure you click that button to subscribe. We appreciate y'all very, very much. Thank you.